Hello, and welcome to Combox, the post-match. Well, what do we call this? Review, if we can call it that, after today's game. We have Rob Barron with us today. Rob, hello.
Hello.
What did you think of that match?
I thought it was crap. And that's the,
That makes
and
two
that's
of
the end of
us.
the podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Well, it was crap for anyone who wanted a good game. It was also crap if you were a KKR fan. It was an absolute shit show as far as KKR is concerned. They need something different. They need a soft reset here, Rob.
They need a hard reset is what they need, and they might actually need to take some of the parts out and replace them with new ones. I think the way they're going, as I said there at the end of the live, I think their best chance of salvaging anything from this season, where they're winless now through 5 games, is that Finn Allen catches fire now and stays on fire until the end of it. And I don't really see how tactically they can do very much with what they've got, because basically they bet the farm on Cameron Green and he's turned out to be a bit of a dud, right? His performance today of 2 overs, none
Seems
for
a little
30.
off as well, doesn't he?
He's clearly not fully fit, because otherwise he would have bowled at the start of this comp. But yeah, 2 overs, none for 30, and then he missed a ball from Noor by a yard and got clean bowl first ball. That's not what you pay all the money for. They don't have masses to come in now, do they? They don't. It's not like that they can just go to this guy. What they're missing is Patharana. It would be great if they could get him back, but there's not much point in getting him back when they've already can't qualify for the playoffs, and they're getting close to that now, aren't they?
Yeah. So the thing is, they need a 2014-esque kind of season to come back here, and I think you need a little bit of a soft reset here. and this is my opinion. I think this is what they should do. I think the bowling is working, as it were, at this point in time. Someone needs to take the responsibility that Cameron Green is taking up. I think even if Ramandeep can bowl those 2 overs for 30 that Cam Green is bowling at this point in time, some in the middle overs, I think that'll be better option, right? It's anyway a punt, so you might as well take that punt with Ramandeep, because he's a decent enough bat and you're giving him a little to work with. Karthik Tyagi is your out and out death bowler who's bowling pretty well. Varun Chakravarti's had slightly better numbers today than he's had in the recent past. So I think the bowling is there. Vaibhav Baroda is doing his job, not so much today, but for the most part doing his job. Anukul Roy is doing his, so is Sunil Narayan, and he's doing it with a little bit of panache there. Having said that, their batting is not working for them. I really think my 11 or my batting order for the next game would be, I'd leave Green out, I'd bring Tim Seifert in, I'd have him open with Finn Allen, and if one of them get out early, I'll keep Sunil Narayan. In the first 3 overs, if they get out, first 4 overs, if he gets out, I'll bring in Sunil Narayan and tell him to go helter skelter. And if he after he gets out, I'll bring in Ankush Raghuvanshi. Because if these 3 pull off a great start for KKR, you don't need Ajinkya Rahane in the middle overs. You use him as a floater. You use him to finish the innings. I think you use him in the death. And I think someone like him in the death will be against fast bowlers, with the way he's batting against fast bowlers, will be very useful. You use Ankush Raghuvanshi, who plays as well against spin versus as he does against pace, in the middle overs. Then you use Rinku Singh at number 6 or 7, right? And if you want to use someone at 5, you can use Rovman Powell at number 5, because he can pace the innings well. Like, he even batted at 140 strike rate today. 140 strike rate today, exactly. Right? And then your Ramandeep becomes your 7-8, Rinku Singh becomes your 6-7, right? And then you use Ajinkya as a floater, an out-and-out floater. Then if you want to drop Ramandeep and you bring in another bowler, you can bring in another bowler, because you have real depth, because you still have Anukul Roy after that as well. So you bring in a lot of depth in your bowling as well, and you can also bring in a little bit of depth in your batting as well. So I think that is the kind of 11 that I would go on with for KKR. Your thoughts?
Well, if anyone listened to the live, they may be surprised with this, but I 100% and completely agree with what you just said, because what you're saying there is you don't need to go wild here. You don't need to go, right, we're going to rip everything up and we're going to start again and we're going to go, Ravindra's coming in for Green and Muzarabani has to play and all this stuff. You're just going, look, their side looks better if you go Look at what New Zealand did in the T20 World Cup.
Yeah,
Seifert
exactly.
and Finn Allen, right? They work extremely well together as an opening pair, and that. And the call you have to make is Cameron Green doing it for us this season? And you can't just keep picking somebody because he got paid a lot of money. If that's your only reason for picking
Which is
him,
what they're doing right now.
so he's not doing his job. They slid him down to number 6 today, and he was hopeless. So time for him to sit on the bench. They've got proper internationals that can come in instead. And like as you say, Robbie, right, the bowling looks fine. You know, it's unfortunate that Chakravarti hasn't had his stuff yet this season. But you had absolutely vintage Narayan today, didn't you? 1 for 21 off his 4 overs. Vintage Narayan. Tyagi looking pretty good. I thought he bowled well today.
Yeah, he did.
Overs, his last over was brilliant. They couldn't get him away, could they? So there are positives that bowling. But if you shake up that batting order, which is what you just said, you shake up the batting order. It's really long and deep, the batting order anyway. But you go, okay, we want Finn Allen becomes a better opener, I think, if he opens with Seifert. I mean, that's been shown for New Zealand. Totally agree that Narayan bangs the power play if one of those goes early, and if he doesn't, you go fine. We can use him as the spin destroyer, not use him at all on some days. And what Rahul proved, right? Somebody again who's brilliant at cricket and is nearer the end of his career than the start, is he can adapt, he can do stuff, he can change his game. And you go, look, Ajinka, the best place for you to try and salvage this season, we still want you to captain, we still want you around, but how much fun are you going to have banging pace at the end? You know, there's a lot of crap pace now that gets bowled to death in the IPL, and he's very equipped to destroy it, isn't he? So love it, and it takes the pressure off some of the other guys in the order. If you
takes the pressure off even him, because it's a good look on him, even in the narrative as a captain. It's a good look on him that he's sacrificing his position to bat at you know, to give the team the best chance, because you know, you suddenly see another side of him, right? And as a captain, you know, you've got the backing, the cushion to play every match. So you're gonna play every game. And if the team really needs you and it's in dire straits, you still get the opportunity to absorb the pressure as a senior pro and do well for your team. And if that works for him, oh boy, that makes Ajinkya Rahane look really, really good. You know. On the other hand, CSK had an out and out you know, proper team game today. In solid performance at the top. I still think Ruturaj shouldn't be opening the batting, Rob. I think he should be batting at number 3, my opinion. What do you think? What are your thoughts with CSK and how they play today?
Well, I agree. It was a team game because no one got 50 and no one got 4 wickets, and they won really, really easily. You know, they smashed them to bits. And so when you have a team like Chennai, you have lots of guys that can chip in and do stuff. And pretty much everybody, other than Gurjapneet, who had a bad time of it with the ball, his balls got whacked. Everybody else did something. You know, everyone else chipped in and either got a few runs. The guy that didn't, which is the worry for Chennai, is Gaikwad didn't. And Gaikwad looked bad again with the bat, chewing balls and then getting out to a ball that he could have hit anywhere and he hit it straight down the fielder's throat. And then he dropped the easiest catch of the IPL, didn't he? Early on, and you know what my relationship's like with drop catches. And this is 2 years of scarring, Robbie. Right? You don't like me slagging off these professional athletes, but it's years of financial scarring has caused my reaction to these drop catches. But he looks like a guy that needs to come out of the firing line and not go, look, I can do it as they've got Matre there, right? They've got a young kid who bashes
that's my thing.
If you don't need to with Chennai, you don't actually need to. You probably need to give Gurjapneet a game or 2 off and just say, look, we're going to get somebody else in. We've got plenty of bowling that can we've got plenty of guys that can come in and do a job. But with Brevis back, and Sarfaraz having a very good time of it, you know, realizing some of the potential that he's shown, you know, how he's not played more IPL games is a mystery to everybody, isn't it? But he looks like he's got some stuff. He didn't do brilliant today, but some of his shots were good. He took a very good catch at the end. But when you've got Matre, Brevis, Sanju and Gaikwad, right, is your top 4, and you could on some days have Sarfaraz in the top 4 and you could have Jube in the top 4, right? It's a good position to be in. But what you shouldn't then do is Sanju, we know, needs a few balls, and he's not one of these prolific belters of the ball in the power play. He's had some very good ones. He's not Suyavanci's style, is he? Where he's going to come in and try and hit the first ball and then the second ball. He's not one of those. So you don't want to pair him up. When you've got that top four, the 1 and 2 shouldn't be Sanju and Gaikwad. And Sanju is in good form, and Gaikwad definitely isn't. So you don't want to pair Sanju up with a guy chewing balls, because it puts too much pressure on him to then.
Does it almost feel like Ruturaj is trying to compete with Sanju for strike rate kind of a situation? Does it feel like that?
It feels like it's going wrong with him at the top, and he's kind of like, I can't get past the fact that they were chasing 250, genuinely 250, and those two walked out to open. That's the wrong answer. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And when Gaikwad's out of form, and they came in today, I mean, they got 190 and it was absolutely plenty, in the end, and they got loads of runs in the power play. But the reason they got loads of runs is because Matre strolled in and got 38 off 17. And everyone in our chat was saying, when Gaikwad got out, that's probably good news for Chennai. And how far they've fallen, because 2 years ago, they were building the whole team around him. That was the decision. He's our guy. He's the anchor. He's going to get all the runs. But the game has moved on very fast. So I think he should be a floater in their batting order, and maybe drop down sometimes, because you don't need him.
I actually don't agree with that. I don't think he should be a floater, though. I actually think he should be the number three. Number three. Like,
what's their 80 for 1 after the power play?
If they're 80 for 1, maybe no. If they're 80 for 1, actually 80 for 1 after the power play, I'd still send him. If they were 80 for 1 after 10 overs, I wouldn't send him.
Okay.
Right? Because at this point, so the thing is, when you have someone as solid, for me, and genuinely, Rob, I don't think he's out of form. I actually think he's in fairly decent form. I think he's in fairly decent nick. I just think he's trying too hard, if you know what I mean. I think he's actually pushing himself too much to score runs quickly, right? Because he wants to take the pressure off Sanju. I think he shouldn't be doing that. I think he should be playing to his strengths, right? He's someone who also takes his time, right? So if he bats at number 3, even if a wicket falls early, you can, if you feel like a wicket falls in the first 3 overs, send in a Sarfaraz Khan. How the fuck does that matter? It doesn't matter. Send in the Sarfaraz Khan, because he likes to play quickly. He wants to score runs as quickly as possible. So if they get off to a good start, that buys Sanju the time to score runs. If Sanju gets out early, Ayush is anyway going to bat the way he's batting. He's hitting the ball really well. So you want someone as solid as a Rutu at the other end to hold one end up. So you hold one end up to play a kind of a sheet anchor role. And so that the guys like Sanju, the guys like Ayush, Brevis, Sarfraz, Shivam have the freedom to just go out there and express themselves from the word go. Because you know that once Ruturaj is set, he is as dangerous as any of these other players I've just mentioned right now.
100%.
Right?
He can go on mega 6 streaks when he's in, Gaikwad.
Correct. And so for me, I think that's why I think him at number 3 is a solid role rather than him at opening the batting, right? And my thing is, I don't think he's short of form, right? I think he's just short of runs.
And what brings you to that? You think he's just getting out cheaply, trying to play a game that he's not suited to? Do you think that's what's happening?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So he's someone who likes to score low risk boundaries at the start of his innings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once he gets set, then he starts playing the high risk cricket. In fact, the middle overs is where he's the best at. Like he bats, we have to check the numbers there, Rob. I think maybe if you can check the numbers for us, you'll probably be able to tell us what his numbers are after 6 overs. Between 6 and 15, once he's set, what his numbers are. That'll be an interesting find, actually.
So Gaikwad, do you want all time or do you want the last few years?
Just all time.
All time. Listen to this, everybody, right? This is a 92 inning sample size of just T20Is and Indian Premier League, right? Just those 2 competitions, the top level. His power play strike rate, this backs up everything you've just said. He is basically, the more he bats, the quicker he scores, right? A lot of bats don't do this. They go quick, then they slow down, then they go quicker again. But Gaikwad, here's his numbers. His average in the power play, not that it really matters, is 42. His strike rate is 124 in the power play. Not fast enough these days. Right. Middle overs, his average is exactly the same, 42. So he gets out at exactly the same rate. And his strike rate goes up to 144 in the middle overs. That's overs 7 to 15. Exactly what you just said.
There you go.
And then if he's still in at the end, a bit like Virat, he can bang with the best of them, right? He can bang with the best of them. He's 190 plus at the end, right? So what you've done is gone, well, I think he does this. And then you look at the numbers, he does exactly that. And you can see that as a proper cricket brain and as an a cricketer that's played in this tournament for multiple years, who has to have the conversation with him now?
Well, he's the captain. He can make that call himself. To be very honest, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to do anything. As in, he needs to take the call. He just needs to inform the coach and say that this is what I think I should do. I think it grants the team a lot more freedom to play more aggressively and play cricket the way it's played at this point in time. Allows the team to thrive and play cricket to the place where it's evolved today. And I think it gives CSK the best chance to be successful in this tournament moving forward. They've got some momentum right now. They need to respect that momentum, right? And it's working. Ayush and Sanju are actually working without even trying, right? So if that's working, just lean in on that is what I'm thinking. If I was in the support staff, I'd be saying, let's lean in on that. Let's lean in on Ayush and Sanju. You come in at 3. So, hold fort for us. Once you get set, just bat how you want to bat. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. And then, when MS Dhoni comes into the side, poof, look at that batting lineup, bro. That is a gun batting lineup.
It's all bases covered, is what it is. And what you've touched on there is you need the ability, just as we were going on about during the live, is to be able to shuffle your batting order when it suits, because you have Dubey, Brevis, and Sarfraz who can bat in any order. But it's quite clear to me that Matre does his best work at the top, when there's fielders in and he can boot it over the top of them, right? And Gaikwad can do his best work when the fielders are out. So swap those
outside,
two.
Actually, he's really actually good at that.
Yeah. So swap those two round, and you've solved a problem without disrupting too much else, right? I would just, that would be what I would do with Chennai, is swap those two round. But a week ago, it felt like Chennai might be, have problems that are too difficult to solve. Now, having seen another couple of games, they've managed to get a couple of wins. If they make that change, I think they become a much better side. Whereas KKR look like they're hugely struggling. They look like a team that
they are really struggling. They really need to.
They're under it.
And that can happen, right, Rob? I think you can invest in someone and you think that they'll do well. And I would, like anyone would think that at the auctions, if you thought that will Cam Green do well at Eden Gardens, where it's where you're going to play 7 games, you're going to think, heck yeah, he's going to do well. Will he give you a chance with the ball in Eden Gardens? Yeah, he might give you a chance in Eden Gardens, even though it's a high scoring ground. But where is the ideal batting position for Cam Green? I don't think it's at number 6. I think it's at the top of the order. But does he fit the bill? If there was no Finn Allen, I would say, yeah, play him at the top of the order. But when you have Finn Allen and Tim Seifert there, you're suddenly wondering, wow, where does this kid actually fit in right now? Because it's very hard to fit him in right now.
Yeah, and that's just a bad decision at the auction table, because when you have those...
They actually picked Seifert after the fact, no? They've picked Seifert after Green. Well, she shouldn't have gone for Seifert.
But it's like Mumbai getting into the situation where they have Trent Bolt in their team, who's the best first over bowler in T20 cricket history, not bowling the first over because they've got Deepak Chahar, who has to bowl the first over because it might swing. Otherwise, he's rubbish, right? You have to think about these things when you're putting your team together. And what you got to do with Cameron Green, right? So you've let's be honest now, you've wasted the money on Cameron Green. You spent too much on him. And if you wind back the podcast that we did the day of the auction, we said this. You now got to go, be honest with yourself. What's a better idea? Open with Cameron Green, excuse me again, or Tim Seifert. There's no question what the right answer is. No question. So do it. Make the call now. They've managed to get Seifert in, as you say, after the auction. But they did have, if they didn't have Seifert now, I would say swap Cameron Green for Ravindra, who they did sign back then, because Ravindra can do it. Has done mad stuff in ICC events, and Cameron Green isn't doing it right now. You can get an overall 2 out of Ravindra if you need it. He can certainly do what Green's done and gone for 14.
But also similar play like Ajinkya Rahane, so his numbers are also will be pretty similar to Ajinkya's, Rob. So I don't know if that, like, the only variation he'll bring is the fact that he's a left-hander. I don't think his strike rate.
They don't need to do it now because they've got Seifert, haven't they? So I think
now that the fact that you have Seifert right now is when you actually kind of lean in on that, right? The fact that the Seifert and Finn Allen have batted so well together, and that partnership works. That's why you lean in on that. That's why you make that choice. Because if you are going to drop a player like Cam Green that you've invested heavily in, then you got to take that tough call, right? You got to be a little ballsy here and make that call about, okay, you know what? I want to take this. It's a little high risk, but I wouldn't say high risk. I think there's medium risk, to be honest, because you have enough it's intimidating as well, right? And they just came off a successful World Cup campaign.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question about opening. How much better or worse do you feel, depending on who your opening partner is, or like what type of bat that you're asked to open with when you're open? How much of a difference does it make to you?
Makes a difference, because I would say, like, that's why today, with Matre coming at number 3, as soon as Matre comes in, you can see Sanju is also a little bit more relaxed, right?
Yeah, because the pressure comes off him, doesn't it?
Pressure comes off him, right? And that's a very real aspect. It's a non-tangible, but it's a real aspect in cricket. It plays a part.
And who's your favorite opening partner? Who would you pick? Like, who do you
Mine?
love opening with?
I loved opening with Gautam. In my era, I loved opening with Gautam because we really complemented each other. One of the things we did that was not a common kind of thing in our era was that we drop and run incredibly well between the wickets, and that rotation of strike brought about a lot more boundaries back when we played. And we played at 140 strike rate when we opened the batting together, so 140, 150 strike rate. So that worked for us a lot. And then, Gautam was the first one to sacrifice our partnership because he felt like cricket's evolving, so he wanted someone more aggressive at the top. So he brought in Chris Lynn, and then Sunil Narayan after that, and kind of split us apart, right? So you need to take those tough calls as a leader, and I think this is primed for someone like from Ajinkya and perhaps Nayar's position to make that call. And they've got a solid support staff, like with the likes of Watson, Russell, Bravo. They gotta make a call, right? They gotta take a call.
Yeah, how much does this team miss Andre Russell? Like, they miss him so much.
Yeah, he should have played one more season for sure, man. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he gets the SOS.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's about it. Anything else you want to add for today's game, Rob?
I would like there to be a better game tomorrow, please, because that was garbage.
Yeah, hopefully. We have RCB playing LSG tomorrow. They're playing at Bengaluru, so it will be a game and a half. Enjoy, I'd say, the atmosphere for who is watching at home. RCB also have some momentum with them going their way, and their home ground is a fortress, isn't it? So I think they're going to give LSG a run for their money. It's going to be an entertaining game. Small ground, big hitters, a lot of fun. That's it, lads. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow on Combox. Like, share, subscribe. It feels weird saying this, but join us on the live watch along tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, good night.
Combox. The game lives on.